considers himself a libertarian. But the main thing I like about him is that he wants out of Iraq, and he hates the Bush administration's policy in the war. So I like that about him, and a lot of people are, focusing on him.
Right.
However, he has other things that he says, like he's not pro-choice, for instance, which I'm going to ask him about.
Okay.
And he happened to have been a gynecologist in another life. And it's odd that he would be not pro-choice. So I have questions for the guy. He also doesn't believe that government should interfere in personal lives. Well, then how come you're not pro-choice? I mean, I don't want the government in my uterus, okay?
Did you say he was?
Ron Paul's
that he was a gyno?
Yes, he was
I just want to make sure.
For a lot of years,
I mean, I want to see his picture. Picture this man while you're in stirrups. There he is.
But no, he's sincere though. It's not a he's got this. He's got a very fatherly. I would want him to deliver my baby.
But my gynecologist never had an American flag behind him. Did yours?
Who was that doctor way back in the 70s?
Kevorkian.
No, he had a TV show.
Welby.
Dr. Welby.
Dr. Welby.
Dr. Welby.
Yes.
Marcus Welby.
Yeah, Marcus
Yeah.
Welby.
Okay, so but where does the homeschooling come in?
So he
That's what
believes
he's a
in
big
that.
advocate of. He wants his nickname is Dr. No because he's like no big government, no Department of Education,
No UN.
no UN,
No IRS.
no IRS.
No IRS. He doesn't want any income tax.
I love it.
I'd like
No
somebody to get rid of the death tax. That's what I want. I don't want to get taxed just because I died.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's right. If I give something to my kid, I already paid the tax. Why I got to pay again because I died? It's like being chastised. I hate it. Anyway.
Only, you know what? Can I just say something about that? Only people with a lot of money say that, but that's okay.
No, I don't think so. Anyone who wants to leave something to their kid, whatever you paid for it, they have to pay.
I know.
It's horrible. It doesn't matter if you have money or don't have money. Once you've paid your taxes, it should be a done deal. You shouldn't have to pay twice. No taxation without representation. Sorry. We'll be right back with even more hot topics.
Presidential candidate that even has some of the Democrats on his side. And as we've said before, and this is shocking, he's a gynecologist too. He's two treats in one. No wonder he's my favorite Republican because, he could be the president. So please welcome 10-term Texas Congressman / gynecologist Ron Paul. What's a gynecologist?
Good to see everybody.
I have to hit you with my first question because we discussed it in the Hot Topics. I've read all of your stuff, and I know that you want limited government, get government out of my life, right?
Good idea.
What about Roe v. Wade? I don't want the government telling me what to do with my body. How do you justify that?
I think the question is whether a baby that is unborn, that weighs 8 pounds, 7th or 8th month of gestation, has any rights. Is it a person?
What about the first month, or when you usually
So
get an abortion?
You're not for all abortion.
I don't know. It would have to come up in the specific case.
Then the line, so you don't want me to do an abortion on somebody that has an 8-pound normal baby?
No, of course not.
Okay, so you're not for abortion, really?
No, wait a minute. But if the woman wants to abort a baby at 8 months, something's wrong, either with her mental state or her health. So
but the law says they can do that.
Yeah, but the law should.
If it's her body, why can't she do it?
Shouldn't it be between the doctor and the woman?
That's
Why
not
can't the woman
exactly
do
true,
what
sir.
she wants?
That's not exactly true. There is a limit as to when you can have an abortion. I believe that's the truth.
All the way through the 3rd trimester.
I don't think
call
so
that
anymore.
partial birth.
Yeah, that's right.
Partial birth.
Yeah.
Roe versus Wade allows it in the 3rd trimester. It dictates to the doctor what he can do in the 1st trimester, 2nd trimester, and 3rd trimester. So it is the law of the land.
So are you not against? Just you like Roe v. Wade, except up to a point? Is that what your position
I don't like the
is?
federal government doing anything.
Okay.
So I want the states to deal with it.
Oh, but if you're against abortion, what's the difference? Who's doing it, the states or the government?
Well, there's a big difference because the Constitution doesn't give them. The states don't deal with murder and violence.
Okay, so it's not a
manslaughter.
moral position; it's more of a political
It's a legal position.
It means if the states deal with it,
it's a legal position because I honor and respect the rights of the mother, but your home too. Your home is your castle. I don't want any government in your home.
Right.
No searches without warrants.
Right. Of course.
No cameras. But you can't kill your baby in your home.
Well, no, but that's murder. That's different.
Okay, but somebody sees this. I have as a physician, I've been trained to bring life into the world. And if I do harm to the baby, I get sued. So the baby is alive and has what rights?
Well, let me ask you this. So,
Right?
Of course, but that's a very unusual. But that's such an unusual situation. We're talking about girls who are in trouble and they want to have an abortion in the first
Would you
month.
be happy with a law that says abortion should be done no later than at 6 weeks gestation?
Look, I'm not happy with abortion, period. You know, I don't
nobody
want...
is.
Nobody is,
Well,
but that's not
that's
the point.
idea. But here's my question. If you make a decision that this is where you need to go, because as I said to somebody else earlier on this show, no one makes this decision lightly. This is not something somebody says, oh, I think I'll go get this. This is not a fun thing to go do. So if someone has come to that place to make that decision, it's because they really feel like it needs to be there. Now, I think you should be able to get some help if you're reaching out for somebody like that. What bothers me is that there is no one who says, here's what we can do, because, you know, you have all these children. What are we going to do with them? If everybody has the kids, the churches don't want to take them. Nobody wants to put them in the thing. No, I want to finish the thing, period.
Well, the question is whether abortion should be done on demand and who controls it. What you're saying is a very difficult problem that we can deal with. And the more difficult a problem that we have, the more you want to be held locally. Before Roe versus Wade, before it was legalized across the board on demand, states did. I saw it happening. Abortions were done on rare circumstances, and it was done with caution. There was a recognition. There was a recognition that life was valuable, and I don't think anybody's going to win this. You're not even for abortion for anybody every time a minute before birth. You don't want to abort these normal babies.
That's murder.
At the same time, I don't think we'll ever reach a stage where there will be no abortions. But I want to sort this out the way the Constitution mandates, and that is at the local level.
What do you want to know, Sharon?
At the local level, you get girls from California or some other state where they can't do it. They have to drive from Arkansas to Timbuktu if it's left to the state level. There's, and they got to be pretty rich, and they've got to be wealthy.
But we might not have any partial birth abortions, of normal babies.
That's only one subject that we can get to with you.
The other subject I wanted to ask about was your views on immigration. You said that you had a plan for immigration. You wanted to secure our borders.
Yes, I think our problem of immigration comes from the fact that we have a weak economy and immigrants are scapegoats. And if we had a healthy economy and we weren't worrying about our jobs and we weren't worrying about the downturn of our economy, I think immigration wouldn't be nearly as problem as this. But I don't want to reward people who break the law. So I'm not for amnesty.
So do you think
I want people to come here legally, but if we had a healthy economy, I think the immigrants would be much more welcome. But because we reward it and we put pressure on our states, our hospitals are literally closing in Texas because they can't afford the free health care and the free education. So I want to remove the incentives.
Let me ask you this. So now, if you become president, what's your stance on China? How are you going to balance that out? Because there's a big old issue. And one of the things I've not heard anybody say is, here are the issues with China. This is what I'm going to do to make sure that the things that have been happening are not going to happen again. And the other part of this question is, if you feel so strongly about immigration, how are you going to get all these big companies in this country to stop shipping all the jobs across the water to other places, and so people can get their jobs back and stop blaming it on the illegal immigrants?
Okay.
I would treat China like every other country. I want to be friends with country. I don't want to intimidate them. I don't want to put sanction on them. I want to not fight with them, and I want to trade with them. But the China probably is a consequence of a lot of our failed economic problems here. Our jobs leave because we overtax and we overregulate, and also it's a currency problem. We've been able to print money and export our money. Why work for a living? Why have production here at home if the world's still accepting our dollars? So why not just buy our stuff from overseas? That's part of the problem, except that's changing because the dollar's going down, and that is one of the most serious threats we're facing today in our economy, is the weakness of our dollar.
Is there another Republican? And now, you probably are not going to win, and you know that, right?
No, I don't know that.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be negative. I'm sorry, because it's very hard. He's got front runners all over the place.
You want those pro-war people to win?
No, I don't.
We don't.
I don't. That's why I like you. My question is there any other person running that you would vote for if you were not running yourself?
It would be difficult. As long as they...
A gun to your head, who is it going to be?
You mean in the Republican primary?
Both. Both.
Right now, well, if they come around endorsing my anti-war views and pro-free markets and sound money, yeah, I would consider it, but I don't have anybody now that I could vote
Nobody
for.
yet.
I'll have to keep talking to them.
Congressman Paul, thank you so much. We wish we could have more time with you because we got so many questions, and we just thank you so much. We will be right back.